Welcome everybody. It's Fins Up Talk for the fans. It's your host Chad with my co-host Juan. Excited to break down some new information for you, some breaking news that we all know it happened. Also crushing news with our Canes. But I'm gonna kick it over to my boy Juan to kind of get us going, and then we're gonna roll into this thing.
Yeah, Chad, like you said, some exciting news. It is a Dolphin podcast, but we are Miami fans through and through. So Hurricanes didn't look so great over this holiday Monday, Martin Luther King Day. So I actually went to the game and
Yeah.
saw some guys that we talked about in the mock draft. D'Angelo Ponce, of course, Fernando Mendoza. He shined, man, looked great. All the credit in the world to that guy, man. It's hard, because you want to root for the guy, but Miami fans. So I got to give credit where credit is due, though. There's always next year. The
Okay.
Hurricanes gave us something to root for, and that's really all you could ask for. And hopefully, our Dolphins can replicate that, but in a more positive side. We got a new guy. We got our new coach,
Mhm.
defensive minded coach. Chad, I know you're big on getting somebody who's been there, done that. It's a first time head coach. What do you think, brother? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first shout out to Juan for being able to go to the game. Obviously, we you talked about D'Angelo Ponce, who that's your boy. I know you're a big fan of him. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza is that guy. I was struggling because I want my Canes to win, but man, Fernando being from Miami, his family being there, his mom this season, like if there was a team we were gonna lose to, that was the team I wanted to lose to.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds crazy, but like this is just the beginning. And the one thing that's been really cool about being a Canes fan is seeing other Canes fans in the community saying hats off to the guys. And I think Fernando might have done something for us, Juan. I think he might have lifted the curse. A Miami guy winning the national championship in Hard Rock. I know we lost, but I feel like it's there. So I know we haven't gotten to talk about the game yet because we've both been kind of going through it. I'm sick as you can hear, but like
Yeah.
I have a feeling one, but I'm gonna go to what you asked. I did want everyone on this pod knows that we wanted Harbaugh first and foremost. I wanted Stefanski. I know you wanted Shula, which we'll get into that. But I will say, if Shula ends up in Pittsburgh, I will pull my hair out. Watching a Shula dominate in Pittsburgh would just destroy me, and I can't have it. But what I am going to say is I've done a lot of work on Halfley. You and I talked about this in our first episode. We knew this was coming. It was, I feel, common knowledge, given the ties. But I want to throw something at you on that has been really kind of in my mind. Obviously, I sent you the video when he was at Boston College and he did that sit down. You and I have both been watching a lot of his pressers. I know there's this thing called nepotism that they keep saying, like, oh, he comes from there. But I want to ask you this one. You've been in the professional workforce for 15 plus years now.
Yes, sir.
Do you find it easier to be on a team with people you know or strangers?
That's a good question. It's easier, in my opinion, with strangers because with
Okay.
people that it's I don't know. I want to see where I'm going with this. It really depends, right? It really
Okay.
depends. When you're with strangers, it has its pros and cons, right? Because
Yep.
people know you, they know what they could get away with. When it's
Yeah.
strangers, it's like, okay, we all got to be on our toes, right?
Hmm.
So everybody's different. Everybody has their personality. So pros and cons.
Okay. I agree to a point. I would say this. I think the biggest issue that we come to find is that first year when you bring in someone you don't know, there's that getting to know each other phase.
Yeah.
How does he coach? How does he acquire talent? How does he scout? How does he use those talent that we bring there? So what I love is that like we're already behind the eight ball because of the dead cap that we're about to get when we get rid of Tua, when we get rid of Tyreek, when we get rid of Bradley Chubb, when we get rid of everyone, right? That 1 year is crucial where they already are on the same page. And it's not that they were directs because think about it. Uh John Eric Sullivan, he was the director of player personnel, and Halfley was the defensive coordinator. It's not like they had direct to direct contact, but you and I have talked about this in the past. Everybody's always watching. So you get to see the mannerisms. You get to see how he interacts with players. And I hate to be that guy, but how can you not love watching his pressers? He's articulate. And again, no shade to Mike. Again, if anything, shout out to Mike for what it sounds like he's going to be the Chargers OC. Like, big shout outs. He can do the funniest thing ever and go learn under Harbaugh and make Herbert the guy. And then us Dolphin fans will be like, man, we missed out on Harbaugh and we picked two over Herbert and live all that. But we don't even want to go down that road.
Yeah,
But you and I talked about it. It was fun and cool when we were winning, but the yeah, like the stuff that was hard to understand with Mike got tired. I remember my fiance being like, is he on drugs?" And I'm like, "No, that's just his personality. That's how he talks." And it grew on me until it didn't. And then I got to hear Halfley, Jeff, and I'm like, "This is such a breath of fresh air." And the one thing that you can say, and I was going through X, there's not a single Packers beat writer, former player, current player, or fan that was happy about losing Jeff. They are
right.
literally flooding the message boards with, "You guys got that guy. You got that one. We knew we weren't going to do it." So it's hard not to be excited about it. I'm just going to take it as it goes and go through the process.
Gotcha. I hear you, Chad. And man, I told you, and I really don't want to go against my own word, right? I like to be a man of my word. I want to be optimistic,
Yeah.
but it's just, man, you had Chris Shula right there. You got the
Yeah.
top 10 defense. I know we touched on it, least penalized defense. That's saying something. That means coaching. That's what that means in my
Yeah.
eyes, right?
Yeah. Of
And, kind of playing devil's advocate here for a second.
course.
Not necessarily because somebody is not happy that you left, does that always mean that that guy's not a good coach? And, I'm talking about Vic Fangio. He goes
Yeah.
over there to Philadelphia, and he's a much better defensive coordinator than he is a head coach. But just
100%.
speaking to him and being a defensive coordinator, he's killed it over there in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Brian
Yeah.
Flores, same thing. He was a dictator, but hey,
Yep.
he had Minnesota rolling.
Yep.
So I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible because I do listen to him talk, and
Mhm.
he's very smart. The way
Yeah.
that he sounds like somebody who's authentic, and to me, that's the most important thing. When I listened to Mike McDaniel talk, it sounded like he was drunk. Just me
Yeah.
being honest with you, I'm like, what is
Yeah.
this? What is this guy? But he was being himself, and to me, that's
Yep.
the most important thing. Whoever you are, as long as you're yourself, because people pick up on that.
Mhm.
If you have a stuttering problem, if it takes you a second to get those words out, doesn't matter, dude. As long as you're your authentic self. So I always appreciated that about Mike McDaniel. It's clear that he wasn't the guy. I wanted a defensive minded coach. So when we got
Okay.
Halfley, I was like, okay, at least we got a defensive minded coach, and he comes from somebody who has experience on the defensive backfield. My mindset is when you have a coach that has experience on the defensive backfield, the names that come to mind: Mike Tomlin, Nick
Mhm.
Saban, Bill Belichick,
Mhm.
Todd Bowles, all
Mm.
these coaches that had that experience in the defensive backfield, they have more. The success rate is higher when you hire a head coach that has a defensive mindset, that has a defensive backfield experience. So that's definitely a plus side for me. And then this draft, we talked about it. It's heavily loaded with defensive back players. D'Angelo Ponce, we touched on that in the beginning of this podcast.
Yep.
AJ Halsey, you know how I feel about him.
Love
Keontae
him.
Scott,
Love
that
him.
is our boy.
Yep.
So that to me is definitely a plus. I want to see how this plays out. I want to just also add this, right? Because we talked about this. And Chad, when you told me this, I was like, man, Chad was on point. Everybody that I talked to about football, I've been using your words, brother. It's about production over potential.
Mm.
With this
Mm.
coach, it feels like it's potential over production. And it's not to say, because, when you look back in his tenure in Boston College,
Mhm.
there were some games where he performed extremely well, and the defense wasn't that bad in Green Bay. I know there's some
Yep.
stats out there that goes a little bit deeper than what I understand. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
I'm just looking at the passing yards, rushing
Yep.
yards. That's really what I look at. But it feels to me, Chad, and I want to get your opinion on this. We're
Mhm.
banking, at least with the head coach,
Mhm.
on potential over production.
It's funny you say that because I actually thought the reverse. I think the potential hire would have been to get a Shula, right? Because we're banking on the last name. I would have thought getting the Clint Kubiak would have been potential. I would like the flashy, and when I say potential, I should say flash. The flash hires, the Mike McDaniels, the Brian Flores, fresh off of a Super Bowl championship when he was with the Patriots. Bringing in the Caesar as Bill Parcells, bringing in Nick Saban, the aforementioned that you said. I think what's so impressive about what we've seen with Halfley is he took a Boston College team that was terrible, and we're now seeing Bill O'Brien there, and he's doing worse than what Halfley did. And he beat a top 16 team. I believe it was in North Carolina State or one of those teams.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. And he
he
gave
was
Clemson a heck of a game too.
and he was 20-24 in an NIL era and kind of learning by the wayside. Now he took a Packers team that if you used all the statistical like numbers, I believe their defense was 27th overall the year before he got there. Then they jumped up to 7. And then before Parsons went down, before Edrin Cooper went down, and before 3 other Pro Bowl contributors went down, they were at number 9. If and again, I could be off, like up 1, down
Yeah,
2, whatever it is, but I think the production is there because we've seen players get better. Xavier McKinney comes there from New York, and he had a statistically worse season before he came. He goes to do an All Pro under Halfley. You heard Richard Sherman, who was with him in San Francisco, said that's one of the best coaches I've ever been. He taught me parts of the games that I never thought. That's the part where I look at production for him because it's not flashy. Nobody likes draft, like I'll use a draft analogy. No one likes drafting the center or the guard, maybe the tackle. No one likes drafting the D tackle until it's December and you rush for 150 yards, or you're on the other side and you stop a team that historically rushes for 100 plus yards to 50 yards. So for me, the Halfley one is more production based, and like when they say like in fantasy football, you have the ceiling guys where you're like, man, like Lamar Jackson, you draft him because his ceiling is crazy, but the other side of it is he could be injured half the year.
yeah,
But then there's the safe guys. Like every year, I remember drafting Julian Edelman, the only Patriot ever drafted. I'm like, this is the safest floor possible. I feel that Halfley's going to be the safe floor. Why I like him is because, and we talked about this last week, when you're a head coach of a college program in this new NIL era, you are managing 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, and then 24 and 25-year-olds because of super seniors and all of their agents every single day. And you have to schedule around class and all of these other things, weightlifting, film sessions, games, then recruiting. So for him to have that exposure, I know it's his first time in the NFL, but at least he has experience as a head coach. That's where I'm like, this is kind of that rare. He knows it's not going to, when he stands in front of the room and he's designating, it's not going to be his first time, right? He's going to have a pattern, a way in place. What I'm nervous about, but actually kind of excited, is who he's going to bring as his OC, who he's going to bring as his quarterback coach, who he's going to bring as his DC. Is he going to call defense? There's rumor that he could keep Anthony Weaver. I personally hope Weave gets the Ravens job and we get the 3rd round pick this year and next year. But keeping Weave isn't terrible. And then at the flip side, if Weave goes to the Giants, which is another rumor, then who's he going to bring as a DC? And is he going to finally be the coach where he is the Dan Campbell before this year because he called plays, but the Dan Campbell, the John Harbaugh, the Jim Harbaugh, that they are
right.
the CEO and their OC and their DCs do their thing. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing potentially.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that's a very good point, Chad. And hey, look, let's keep score here for a second, right? And I want you to win, Chad. One,
Yeah,
Chad. 1-0. I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people in the Reddit forum. There's a lot of people that are upset with this
yeah,
hire, right? That's
yep.
why I'm playing devil's advocate.
I
And
love
Chad,
it.
I think you made some excellent points, right?
Yeah,
Because my mindset went to, man, this guy, it's just potential. But wait, look at what he did in Boston College,
hmm
right? Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Let's talk about those Pro Bowlers that got hurt, and Green
Yeah.
Bay still put out a top 15 defense. I think
Yeah.
that's saying something right there,
I
right?
agree.
And that's stuff that I get kind of closed minded, not on purpose, but I can't help it. Like I wanted Chris Shula, and I know a lot of people wanted different coaches. Maybe not a Chris Shula, but they wanted the sexier name, right?
Yeah.
But you're putting things in perspective,
Yeah.
right? So, um, sorry, I know I'm saying it right a lot, but I just feel like you hit the head on the nail. So you are right,
No.
my friend. I
No. Let me add to that. I wanted the sexy name. I wanted Kevin Stefanski. I just watched his
yeah,
Atlanta video where he went around there, and I'm like, man, that's what it looks like. Former two-time coach of the year. He made the Browns relevant, all of that. But the more I take a step back, and this is the optimist in me, I'm not going to spend an entire season and off season judging something before I even know what he is. Like
yeah,
at the end of the day, Adam Gase won the presser. Mike McDaniel won his presser. Brian Flores, like all of them, they all say the right things, right? We want to build a strong, tough, physical, competitive team. We want to be bigger than you. We want to win in December. We want to. Okay, cool. You can say everything, but it's not what you say. It's what you do, right? So
agreed.
for me, I I've been the guy, like, dude, I, I was doing backflips for Mike McDaniel. I was beating down the door when we got Brian Flores. I was hyped when we got Adam Gase because Peyton Manning literally said that's one of the best coaches I've ever had. This one, and I know people are comparing to Joe Philbin, please, those are two completely different situations. Completely
The
different.
the only thing is that they came from Green Bay. That's it.
Thank you. And you're right. Like you and I think the reason why we are a little different in this is because we've been talking about this, and I think we knew. I am starting to realize I really don't think the other fan bases or the other fans thought this would actually happen. And the reason they don't like it is because they're like, here we go, another guy bringing in someone that they know. But here's the
Right.
difference. Here's the difference. Yes, Mike McDaniel came here and he brought coaches with him. Yes, Brian Flores came here and he brought coaches with him from New England. Yes, Adam Gase came here and he brought coaches with him. This is the first time in Stephen Ross's tenure as owner for the Dolphins that he is bringing in a new GM, a new head coach, and what we believe to be a new quarterback. The fact that that is now lined up, I don't think this was a flash in the pan. I think they did a diligent process. I think it means something when Hafley was the finalist for Tennessee, for Atlanta, for Baltimore, and for Pittsburgh, where they were trying to get him in. This wasn't just some chump, some throw aside. He literally canceled his visit with Tennessee, and he canceled his visit with Arizona for this. My thing on this is to the fans because I had to check myself at the door. Let's wait out the process. Now, be critical, be on alert, because we've been bait and switched before. But do you really want to spend the entire offseason complaining about a hire when did we all think Mike McDonald, the Seahawks head coach, was gonna be this guy?
Right. That's what
He
I'm saying. Yeah.
dude, he got blown out his last year at Baltimore and then got the job. Sean McVay, you and I talked about it. He got door handled in Washington before he became on the Rams.
Yeah.
You talked about defensive coaches. Think about the split right now. You have Vrabel and you have McDonald. Those are two defensive coaches in the AFC and NFC championship. The other two are McVay and who is it? McVay and Peyton, Sean Payton, two offensive guys. So we're on a 50-50 split. What I can say comfortably is Mike McDonald, Sean McVay, first time head coaches. Sean Payton, Mike Vrabel, second time head coaches. There's not an exact science.
Yeah.
So I'm being optimistic.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Chad. I'm with you. And the reason I'm playing devil's advocate is because I feel like there's a lot of fans, including myself to a degree,
Hmm.
where we're trying to talk ourselves out of this hire. I feel like out of every coach that we've gotten, for the most part, I'm just like you, where I talk the coach up. I'm like, man, he killed the presser. There's only one exception, and that's Cam Cameron.
Oh my
Him
gosh,
and
bro.
drafting Ted Ginn Jr.'s
And his
family and
family,
rep nonsense.
brother,
And
brother.
yeah, that guy was whack. But
Goodness gracious.
I'm eager to see what he says tomorrow. My hesitation came from Sully, and I know you asked me the question here in the beginning, and obviously my mind was just blank. Right? This is improv for us. We don't know where we're going to go with this.
Yeah, I love it.
But I should have seen where you were coming with this, where the familiarity that he has with Halfley. My mind is like, man, if he was the best, I don't care if he was familiar with him and he knows what this guy brings to the table, as long as he was the best man for the job. That's the question that I ask myself. Was he the best man for the job? Right. And I give people the benefit of the doubt. I believe you, and so you give me reason not to believe you.
I
So
love it.
I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to see the the presser, see how I feel. I'm most likely gonna feel good. Just the optimist in me. Yeah, it's
Me too. Me too, bro.
I'm being real with you, Chad.
Hey, man. Me
There,
too, brother.
there's another indicator here that I wanted to point out, and I was looking at my laptop here, right, because I just don't know off rip. So we were talking about the Hurricanes,
Yeah.
or we were talking about Kurt Signetti, and I
Oh
think
my
a
gosh.
good indicator, yeah, he's the guy's on point, right? I googled him, he wins,
Yeah, bro.
right?
The coldest moment 2 years ago, he said, "I win. Google me." And then
Facts.
wins a natty and goes undefeated and has one of the best seasons ever with not a single 5-star on his team. Cold.
No, he did his thing, and I think an indicator of a coach being a good coach. He had some players over there at JMU, right?
Yeah.
Elijah Surratt, your boy D'Angelo Pons, which
Here we
I
go.
absolutely love his game. So the transfer portal is the thing. These guys were known. They had production. They were wanted. He's going to Indiana. Indiana, Chad. Not Indiana now, what we know, what they bring to the table, but Indiana, that 4 years, these guys have been the worst in the Big Ten. They
Mm,
could go undefeated for the next 40 seasons, and they will still have more losses than what they have for wins. That's how bad
goodness.
Indiana's been. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm
No,
not that
that
far off. I promise you.
wow.
I say that to say this. When Halfley was the coach at Boston College, I remember there's one name that sticks out. He's a receiver for the Baltimore Ravens.
Zay
Zay
Flowers.
Flowers. I
Mhm.
wanted him, man. He's from South
Yeah.
Florida. It's much easier to get these guys. You see what the Hurricanes bring to the table, right? Aside from playing for Miami,
Yeah.
the NIL, that's a big deal, man. We pay up. You know,
Yeah.
we actually pay, not like some of these other schools. But I'm gonna go off track here. So they wanted Zay Flowers. Yeah, man. They wanted Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers said, "Nope, I'm staying right here." Not only did he not come to Miami, you would think, well, maybe he's going to go to another school that an Ohio State, right? Somebody
LSU,
who
Alabama.
LSU, Alabama, they're known to produce these first round receivers. No, I'm staying here with my coach. That's saying something. And the year
Um,
before, another first round pick, Zion Johnson.
oh, the guard for the Chargers, right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He stayed. So what
Wow.
does that tell you? I mean, I saw the video that you sent me and what
Hmm.
he talks about, his time at Boston College. And I listened to him talk and I try to put myself in the shoes of some of these kids, right? I always like to put myself in the other person's shoes. Or, as a parent to one of the kids.
Yeah.
Would I want my kid to go there? And just the vibe that guy gave, Chad, I could honestly say, man, yeah, absolutely. Now I know we're talking about the NFL.
Yep.
I know it's a different scenario, but I think we could find some correlation, right? You want players that want to play for a coach like Zay Flowers wanted to play for Halfley. I think that's a great sign.
Yeah. No, one, I mean, we're in complete agreement. Again, I said it and it skews the light. It keeps going in and out, so we're just gonna keep it off. But for me, he's gonna win the presser. The dude is sharp. I am gonna watch the body language between him and Sully to see what that looks like, because that's what I'm intrigued in. I can tell you though, brother, I am fired up about John Eric Sullivan, man. The way that man talks, it's the, and maybe it's because we haven't had a GM in so long other than Chris Greer, but he just commands, bro. Like that sit down with Travis Wingfield, that 15, I've watched it 4 times. Nancy, she wanted to watch it, so we watched it, and she was just like, Yeah, he clearly knows what he wants. And I just love that he continues to go back to principles of draft and develop. Everyone's right now throwing out, and I'm going to get a little off track, but I'll bring it home. Everyone's saying Malik Willis, he's a Dolphin. That would directly go against what literally JE said. He said, we are a draft and develop, we keep our own. We're already going to be paying Tua $50 million this year. If we get a Malik Willis, you're talking 20 to 25 mil. That's 70 to 75 million dollars in the quarterback position on a team that we're going to be negative in cap space until we release Tyreek and Bradley Chubb. I have a hard time believing we'll go that route unless Malik takes a discount. Again, we could catch lightning in a bottle and be in a Sam Darnold situation, Daniel Jones before he got hurt with the Colts, Baker Mayfield with the Bucks, and solve our quarterback problem by getting a Malik Willis at a discount rate, which I'll have to send it to you. I had him as QB1 in that draft. A lot of people had Kenny Pickett, obviously, who ended up going one, but I had him as the top guy, and he went in the third, and I was like, man, well, I look stupid. Then he played on the Titans, and I'm like, man, I look really stupid. But then he played for Green Bay, and I'm like, what? But I like I you brought up something so key. I wasn't even thinking about it. Why do you do this to me every time, brother? You grab me, Juan. You grab me. You said that Signetti brought over his JMU guys.
Right.
One, isn't that what Dolphin fans are complaining about right now? That Sully brought over one of his guys?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, why did Signetti bring over his guys from JMU when he had an entire portal and NIL money with Indiana Boosters, which we know they have money because they're a basketball school and they gave Signetti that contract? Why did he not go out and get other 4 and 5 star players, Juan?
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's familiarity. He brought an Elijah Surratt. He brought a D'Angelo Pons. He brought a Jaden Fisher, or an Aiden Fisher. He brought guys that he knew, and more importantly, that he knew worked for his system and his culture. And that's what Sully keeps saying. And I guarantee, look at the vein in my neck. I'm getting fired up. I guarantee you are gonna hear tomorrow Halfley say culture matters. And
Yeah.
and that is what JE says a lot. And we hear it. And the best thing about us being Miami fans, we're both Heat fans. There's nothing like Heat culture. People throw culture
Nothing. Yeah.
around, brother, like it's free water. But there's very few teams that really buy into culture. We can comfortably say the Patriots are not the most talented team in the NFL, but
Yeah.
their culture is great. We can comfortably say that the Seahawks brought in a collection of guys and they're good. Their culture is great. We can say the Broncos, who we put 70 on 2 years ago, are not the best collection. If they go out and beat a Patriots team with Jarrett Stidham, it's the culture, brother.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see who they bring in. I'm excited that we have a net. I know they did an interview or a poll with like 10 executives that are on winning team or on teams right now that are not looking for a coach, and they said the Dolphins were the seventh most desirable. And you and I have talked about it. To me, we're top four out of the 10 at least because we have an owner that's willing to pay everything. We have no state income tax. We're in Miami, freaking Florida. And then our young core is Devon Achane, a top 10 weapon in the entire NFL. Jordan Brooks, arguably the best linebacker in the NFL. Aaron Brewer, a top 5 center in the NFL. Patrick Paul, a top 15 left tackle in the NFL. And then you have a young draft class of 3D tackles that performed. And then you have Jalen Waddle, who's a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL. I think what's desirable to others is quarterback, but look in the playoffs right now. You have a Drake May who's in his second year. You have Jarrett Stidham. You have Sam Darnold, who was a cast off. And then you have Matt Stafford, who's older and was traded. So my point in all this is one, the reason I'm excited and more optimistic and why I think we should be as a collective is this is new. This is different. This is not the same old Dolphins. If we are doing what most people do, it's they bring in familiarity to one, establish a culture, two, establish a work ethic, and three, set a precedent for what it's going to look like going forward. And I'm all for that. If JE and Jeff are on the same page, you're not going to get the leaks that, well, Brian Flores didn't want Tua, but everyone else did.
Yeah.
Or Mike McDaniel wanted to fire our D coordinator at the time and bring in Vic Fangio, but the front office didn't want to do that. You're not going to get this. You're going to be in the same order of operation. So that's what I'm excited for.
Gotcha. Yeah, Chad, I think you made some great points, right? And I'm happy that we're doing this because you're talking me off the ledge. It's just years of just being used to the same old, right? You try to find similarities. Before I used to try to find similarities with other teams that have had success. Now finding similarities with the sins that we've committed in the past, right? What
Mm-hmm.
have we done that has gone wrong? And it's hire first time head coaches. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's what's being echoed throughout the fan base. Here we go again, another first time head coach. But we alluded
Yeah.
to this on the previous podcast. Who would have thought McDonald was going to be that guy for Seattle? Now look at where they're at. And I
Mm-hmm.
think to your point is having that vision aligned between the GM and the head coach,
Yeah.
right? Because you're right, we did have those leaks where the GM wanted this guy, Stephen Ross wanted another guy, Tyreek Hill wanted this guy fired, Jalen Ramsey was upset with Vic Fangio, was upset of how we use the defense.
Yeah.
It felt more like, man, this is all for show. Like this is reality TV. This is
Yeah.
not football.
Yeah.
And
Which, speaking of, Juan, real quick, did you hear the Pagulas at the Buffalo Bills press conference, bro?
that was, yeah, man. That
Bruh.
with Coleman, right? That they didn't
Yeah,
want to pick him.
dog.
That's
Did you see
cold,
that
man.
did you see they posted the receipts showing that Brandon Bean was saying he was gonna take him no matter what?
That's horrible, man. You don't do that, dude.
No, man, like look, we as Dolphin fans have nothing to say in regards to Buffalo. They've owned us. We like Josh Allen is our daddy, respectfully. But dude, they obviously haven't won. They have Josh freaking Allen, who's one of the, if not the best player in the NFL, one of them. You have your owner who is in a press conference talking to the GM and he interrupts to say, let me the freaking penalty, the call. I used to get upset that Stephen Ross hasn't spoke to the media in like 4 years. I'm glad because Stephen Ross would say some outlandish stuff where it's like, that's why you're an owner. I get it. Owners can say whatever they want because they're not going to fire themselves unless you're Dan Schneider and get fired because you're an idiot. But dude, I heard that and I was like, you just made whatever head coach that's applying for that think, man, if you're going to throw Sean McDermott under the bus, why would you not do me there? So yeah, that I say that because of the alignment that we were talking about. And Juan, I not again not to interrupt what you were saying because I loved your
No,
flow.
you're good. You're good.
Let's look at the landscape, and I'm going to need you to do me a favor on this one.
Yeah.
Of the 14 teams that were in the NFL, how many of those were first-time head coaches for their teams?
Let's look it up. I mean, off the
So
top of my head, I can name you a few.
we know two, like right now that are in, two were first-timers in Sean McVay and Mike McDonald, and then two were retreads in Mike Vrabel and Sean Payton. Matt LaFleur, he is another one. He's a first-timer with the Packers. Ben Johnson, he was a first-timer with the Bears. Um, D'Amico Ryans with the Texans, he was a first-timer. Who am I missing?
Oh, dude, you're missing the best one. Chad, you're gonna kick yourself, dude. You want me to give them to you, or you want to
I
take a
know.
guess?
So Sean McDermott was a first-timer.
Oh, Chad, I can't believe you're missing this one, dude. The audience is gonna get on you, man.
Harbaugh, nope.
No,
Harbaugh,
man.
he's a retread. Who am I missing?
Think the best of the best, dude. We're
A-
talking about.
Andy Reid.
He makes little kids cry, dude.
He makes little kids cry. Is Kyle Shanahan?
No, it's Glenn from the New York Jets.
Oh, I was like, wait, What? No way, bro.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help
Oh
myself.
God, oh, no. I'm like, wait, what am I missing? No. Oh, that was good, bro. I'm like, who am I missing? Now I feel the pressure. But of the 14 teams, how many of that? It would probably be easier to say who are the retreads. So
Yeah.
Vrabel, Peyton. Who else? Who are the 14 teams I got in?
So you got okay. All right, let's see here. So you got McVay,
Yep.
you got D'Amico Ryan,
Yep.
Brian Schottenmeier from maybe I'm not pronouncing his name right. Can never say his name right from the Cowboys.
Oh, Braun Scheinheimer. He didn't make it in. The Cowboys didn't make it in.
Oh, we're talking about specifically the playoffs.
Yeah, and when I
Oh,
mean first
gotcha.
timer, think about it. Mike McDonald's a first timer because this is his first time as a head coach.
Yeah,
Sean
yeah,
McVay's a
yeah,
first-timer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're going. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
The
lost.
14
lost
teams
track.
that made the playoffs.
The 14 teams that made the playoffs. All right, let me go to the playoffs here. Hold on, let me go to the bracket.
Yeah. The original
Sorry,
bracket.
I had that
No.
lined up.
No, I love it. We obviously know Denver finished first and Seattle finished first. That's Sean Payton, who's a retread, and Mike McDonald, who's a first-time head coach. And again, audience, by first time, we know these guys have been head coaches for a long time now, but this is their first and only team they've been a head coach for.
So the Panthers head coach was
Oh,
he
yeah,
first
Dave
time?
Canales. Yeah, first time.
Okay.
Liam Cohen,
Liam
first
Cohen.
time.
You mentioned
Yep.
him.
Yeah, oh, I did. Okay.
You said
okay.
his name. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that covers it. Yeah.
Yeah, so of the 14, is it only Vrabel, Sean Payton as the only retreads?
Mike Tomlin.
Oh, Mike Tom. Well, no, he was a first-time head coach with the
So
Steelers.
we're
That's-
using So okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. Okay. Okay. So Mike Vrabel,
Yep, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton.
Uh-huh. He's coached for 2 teams. Again, you guys, these are people that have coached for 2 teams. There's a method to our madness, I promise.
And so LaFleur was the first time head coach.
Yep.
Okay. I think those are the only 2, Chad.
So of the 14 teams, of the 14, only 2 of them were retread coaches. So Dolphin fans, this is something I didn't even think of. Yes, those 2 happen to be in the AFC and NFC championships respectively, but the 2 they're going against are first timers because Sean McVay's only team he's ever been a head coach for is the Rams, and Mike McDonald, his only team he's ever been a head coach for is the Seahawks. So I understand Stephen Ross's wanting to have a first time. I understand our wanting to have a retread because we don't want to go through the first time headaches. We don't want to go through the struggles. And they say the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But this is unique in the different results are we have a GM that's new. We have a head coach that's new and a quarterback that's new. They're going to all pick it in alignment. So that's just my point one is like, what if he's the next Mike McDonald? Brother, what if he's the next D'Amico Ryans? Like,
I love
what-
that coach, man.
you know what I'm
that's-
saying?
That coach is a beast. This was the point I was trying to make to you the last podcast, Chad. I didn't think that it ran that deep where there were that many first-time head coaches having this much success. And
Yeah.
if you think about it, the NFL is a copycat league.
Yep.
So you're trying to bring something new. These coaches that have been around since forever,
Mhm.
they know what they bring to the table. They have
Yeah.
something for them. You know, the philosophy seems to work for Mike Vrabel. Props to him.
Yep.
I hate the Patriots. Whatever.
Can't stand him, bro.
Yeah, dude, freaking punk. But
Yeah.
yeah, the first time head coaches, it seems to be that's where it's at. It's just that for our luck, we haven't had success. Why can't we be like one of those teams? Hopefully, this is the difference. Like you said, when you listen to Scully, right? And I don't care if this guy says things with a Barry White voice. I mean, to me, you win a person over by being consistent. You could stutter, you could say things like Mike McDaniel. It all goes back to saying the same thing. Chris Greer was the most inconsistent human being. He would just say stuff, however it came out that day. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. You guys are more worried about it.
You're more
than me.
worried about the offensive line
BS,
than we
man.
are.
BS. Come on, dude. Come on. Let me tell you guys something about Chad. Right? Chad Chad, he gets season tickets every year. Chad is out there in Arizona, man. That is a true Dolphin. And like Chad, there are many others of us, bro. Even the people that are here that are local that go to these Dolphins games. It's not cheap, dude. It's not. I the organization owes it to the fans to be transparent. Don't lie to us to our face the way that Chris Greer was lying to us, man.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, you guys are more worried about us and this team is heading in the right direction. No, dude, that's nonsense. You messed up. You left us with a horrible situation with this cap space. And shame on you, honestly.
Yeah.
Shame on the organization. I know we touched on heat culture. And to me, one of the best owners in all of professional sports is Mickey Arison, the owner, the head honcho for the Miami Heat. And you said something earlier. He never comes out in press conferences. He lets Pat Riley run the show. I'm hoping that that's the case with Scully here. I'm hoping that Stephen Ross takes a step back.
Yep.
We talked about him being right, Stephen Ross, about wanting Tom Brady, wanting Sean Payton, wanting Lamar Jackson. All his guys. But hey, man, he didn't go about it the right way.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a GM that's connected because let's be honest, these guys are owners, but they have their outside business. They have a lot going on. GMs, they do this 24/7.
Yep.
You're basically a fan with money.
Yeah.
You hired the right guy. Trust him. Trust him. He's saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I expect to see it tomorrow, right? There's a few interviews that I saw, but it all goes back to develop your own guys. That's it. That's the recipe for success. We talked about it, Chad. Seattle traded away Russell Wilson with all those draft picks. They hit on their guys. Look at where they're at right now.
Denver, come on.
Denver traded away. Who did they trade away? Bradley Chubb.
Yep,
they got a first round. They got a first round pick. They cut the dead weight with Russell Wilson. They started building through the draft.
Yep.
Who's the cornerstone player? Patrick Surtain.
Surtain.
Bo Nix in the quarterback position. Everybody that's a stud there. It didn't go through free agency because you don't get those free agents. What was it that he said, Chad? You don't get you don't get these free agents. They stay where they're at. GMs don't let those guys. Yeah, they don't let those guys go unless you're an Antonio Brown who suffers from severe CTE, which has all the talent in the world. But it's like, man, there's nobody home. Lights are on, but there's nobody home, right?
Yeah.
So I'm happy that we have somebody who's consistent. I hope he's transparent with the fans. I really wanted to play devil's advocate here a lot, but I mean, really, Chad, all the points that I wanted to make that I wanted you to counter, I feel like just that time that you had here to speak, you hit on everything that I feel us as fans have questions about. Now it's just a wait and see approach. And why can't it be us, man? Why can't we draft the right guys? All these other teams, we mentioned them. We went down the list. What's so different about us? I think the biggest question mark now remains, Chad, the AFC East. I haven't looked this up. This is all improv here, and you know more than me when it comes to this. And I know you're big on Dolphins history. What were the teams in the AFC East previously? Before I know we had the Colts, right?
Yep. At one point,
we had the Colts.
It was like we were trying to geographically, we were trying to line it up to where we should actually be swapping. We should be with the Colts, Texans, Jaguars, and they're saying Tennessee should be with Miami, but it was the Colts. The Colts was the one that was joined with us.
It was the Colts. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. Ever since we made the switch and we added all these cold weather teams, we have not had the same luck. And I feel like that's something that people don't want to talk about. I know you mentioned it in the last podcast that Scully brought up in his interview. We have to go through these cold weather teams.
Love it. Bro.
We have to. And I was like, well, wow. Because I think of every possible scenario, at least I like to think so. And he brought up something that is not talked about enough.
Ever.
He's right.
Ever.
We have to prepare the team for that. We have to go through that cold weather.
Yeah. I mean, the title of this video should be "Why Not Us?" Because I mean, brother, we started this pod because we wanted therapy. This was our therapy. And you mentioned about being devil's advocate. Juan, all I'm saying is the stuff that you and I already talked about. And what you're doing is, we say by the fans, for the fans, to the fans, because we're fans. So you guys, we've had these same questions. The difference is we've been able to talk through it. And yes, we have dolphin rose colored glasses on, or I should say orange or teal colored glasses. But the reality is like Sully came in and Juan and I were watching a video of his from 2 years ago. He's saying the exact same thing that he's saying then. It's not like he said something 2 years ago and then now he's saying something different. And that's, again, the Chris Greer dilemma, right? I know Omar Kelly came out and he was like, every GM said, and Omar's right, like props to Omar. Every GM says, want to build through the draft, want to be a draft and develop team, and this, that, and the other. But like, if there's one franchise that is 10 toes down on that, it is the Green Bay Packers. Kyle Krabs had a video today where he talked about how Sully was saying how we have 30 unrestricted free agents. Do you know how many unrestricted free agents the Packers have this year?
I have no idea.
8.
Wow, man.
8.
So they have 8 unrestricted free, and we're in the cap position that we're in,
Yep.
but
And
we're
we have
fine though.
30.
We're in a good position. Everybody worries about it, but Chris Greer's
Yeah.
got us.
Yeah, and like that's the funniest part about it is like either Chris was lying to himself or he truly believed, bro, that the O line wasn't a problem. And I've said this in defending Greer every now and then. He did draft Austin Jackson. He did draft Chris or Patrick Paul. He did draft Robert Hunt. He did trade up to draft Liam Eichenberg. Like he did trade up to draft Jonas Sinai. So it's not like he did. He dude signed Brandon Albert, signed Teron Armstead. So it's not like he wasn't trying. The problem is he got the evaluation wrong and then didn't retain the ones that he should. And dude, I will stand on this. T-Stead was one of the best things that happened to the Dolphins from a
Yeah.
culture perspective, from a leadership perspective. Like that dude played for us for 3.5 years, and you would think he played his whole career here. He stands for Miami, but where Chris messed up, and where I'm so excited to see what Green Bay does, is the trenches. You identified wrong, and you brought up Denver, and you said who's their core player, and you said Patrick Surtain. Do you remember who the fans wanted them to draft that year one? You want me to
So
remind you?
Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
I honestly don't know because I wanted Patrick Surtain.
Justin Fields. They were upset and pissed off that Denver chose Patrick Surtain over Justin Fields. Then they went and got Bo Nix, who was identified as the guy. So before we go in outrage, because I have a feeling Ty Simpson's going to be there for us, and I don't want him. We are not ready for that kind of player. We don't have the time, the infrastructure. Francis Mainower, Spencer Phantom, Sonny Styles, Mansour Delaney. Like, there's so many other players that we can pick that will be cornerstone players for us. Not the undersized, athletic freak from Penn State when we should have literally traded up one spot and gotten Jared Verse or Graham Barton. And that's no knock on Chop Robinson, but like my guy, you didn't. What did we talk about? Production over potential. He didn't produce in college, and then
So
you're expect. Oh, no, what were you saying?
I'm sorry, Chad. I didn't want to cut
No,
you
no, no.
off.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Just for the fans here. So Barden, that's the guard from Duke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other name you said?
Jared Verse.
Jared Verse. So we're talking about the trenches. We're
Yep.
talking about the trenches here, and we
Yep.
settled for an undersized defensive end. Just for
Yep.
the fans, just in case they
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, that's me. I you know me, dude. I'll start going on it. And look, I'm also the guy that was like, get Cam Kitchens, and then he went in the third round. I'm the guy that literally have his draft report that says Kyron Williams is a second rounder, and the Rams got him in the fifth. Like, we often overthink these things. Now, again, I just said take Jared Verse. He didn't have the greatest of sack production, but you saw it in the film. Unfortunately, a Chop Robinson, you saw glimpses, every now and then, but it wasn't consistent. And like with Green Bay, I was going back and looking at their draft history, and I'm just like, dude, they draft dudes. They
Yeah.
draft impact players, not just in the first round, but in the later rounds. And I feel like where we struggle is our first round picks aren't even our best players. Yes, Jalen Waddle's an exception, but like, dude, our best player is Devon Achane. We got him in the third round.
Third round.
Aaron Brewer, if he was drafted, it was like in the fifth, sixth, or seventh. Jordan Brooks was a first rounder, but we got him off of free agency. And then you think about Pat Paul, he's a second rounder.
But we
Eh,
didn't draft Brewer though. We got it from the Titans,
That,
right?
that that's what I'm saying. That, but
Oh,
he
okay,
was
okay, gotcha,
like where he was drafted. Same thing though.
gotcha.
And I'm almost positive he was undrafted, but I might be wrong. But my point in that is like our best players aren't even our first round picks. Minka was a great player, then we traded him. Laramie Tunsil was a great player, and then we traded him. Like, dude, Christian Wilkins, yes, he got hurt, but we let him go. Robert Hunt was a second round, we let him go. We have not hit on first round picks in far too long.
And
And that's what I want.
the ones that we do hit, we let go. To your point. So what exactly are we doing? And they're in the trenches.
The
Instead
trenches.
of keeping your trench guys, you let them go. You let go of Van Kinkle. You let go of Christian Wilkins.
Gracious,
You let
man.
go of Robert Hunt. What
You
in
let
the
go of Brandon
world?
Jones, dude. He went to Denver and he's balling out at safety. Like,
I,
what are we doing?
you know, I, you said something about Scully. You brought up something about Scully. I saw it in the interview where he said, we're going to get the best players. That's what we're going to get. We're not going to get players to fill out the roster. Obviously, you got to fill out the roster, but you do that through the undrafted free agents, right? That's where you go
Supplemental,
with that. But when it comes to the draft, you draft the best players available.
PP.
Maybe you don't need a running back, dude. I mean, maybe this is not the best analogy here, but if you have a guy like Kyron Williams, if we didn't have HM, but you had a solid running back and Kyron Williams is around second or third round, dude, you jump on that.
Yep.
What was the best draft that the Ravens ever had? I remember that GM talking. They didn't need a defensive tackle. And they drafted, what was his name? His all-time great. I used to play with them in Madden all the time.
For the
Ogden,
Ravens, Jonathan Ogden was a tackle.
a tackle,
Left, yeah,
a
John.
tackle, a tackle. Okay,
Yeah,
forgive
yeah,
me, a
yeah,
tackle. They didn't need him, and they got him,
yeah.
and they talked about it. We didn't need him. We
Yep.
had, but dude, that was the best player available. That's what you got to do, man. If the first round comes about, it's your pick, and you have your board. Trust your board,
Amen.
because Chad, dude, you live this, man. You've shown me, guys. Chad has shown me the guys that he has scouted, right? And Chad, you're doing this as a hobby, dude. These guys live for this.
Day and
So
night.
and they got people telling them and giving them all the insight.
Access, interviews. They know what high school stuff they got into. And one, think about the one time Greer did what you just said. Drafted sincerely BPA. Do you remember when he did that? When we
That was
didn't need it?
Fitzpatrick?
Laramie Tunsil. We had Brandon Albert.
Laramie.
Remember?
Yeah.
He called Brandon Albert, Chris Greer, and said, hey, we're about to draft this guy. He's going to play guard. We just want to give you the heads up. That worked out pretty dang good.
Oh, that was great.
Like,
we were set up, dude. We got three
Dude,
first round picks.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we ended up parlaying that into 3 first round picks, and now we're looking back saying, man, we really messed that up. So, what we're trying to get at to the audience is like, the draft is the lifeblood. And again, you've heard Sully say it over and over and over again. We are a draft and develop team. Now, again, he could be saying all this and then completely go against it. And we watched the Packers. They signed Xavier McKinney. That was a big time free agent. They traded a boatload for Micah Parsons. That's out of character. But the core of their team drafted. Dude, well, and I guess they signed Josh Jacobs, but before that they had drafted Aaron Jones. But Jordan Love, you have all the receivers. So Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Dontavian Wick, all those drafted. Zach Tom, their tackle, drafted. Like they are a draft and develop team. And that's what you do right. You get your internal evaluations right. And I am so excited for 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear those two talk because we're going to, here, so the audience knows, we're going to have a reaction tomorrow to talk about exactly that because we're excited about it. And we're already excited about it now. But like, I expect to hear we're draft and develop. I expect to hear we're going to have a disciplined team. But what I want to see following that is how are we operating? How are we moving? And then one, who's the OC? Who's the quarterback coach? Who's the defensive coordinator? And I hope and pray that one of the questions asked are, hey, Jeff, are you calling plays on defense? And one, I hope his answer is no. I hope he goes CEO approach. And before we knock it, because we're going to bring some Packers guys over. It's you guys, audience, it's going to happen. It's familiarity, it's chances. It's like it could be the quarterback coach, it could be the pass game coordinator. They're getting a promotion. What's going to be big time one, and I don't want to because my mind's going in a million miles right now.
You're fine. You're fine. You're spitting facts.
Omar said this. He said Joe Philbin came in and said specifically that the Packers have a rule that we do not take coaches from each other. The funny thing is, and Omar brought this up, so this is all props to Omar Kelly. He said, was that just what Philbin said because no one wanted to come with him? We're gonna find out if the Packers have that. And what I am gonna say, one, and I was seeing this today. This was the first coach that Matt LaFleur got right. The first defensive coach. And remember, who's the defensive coordinator? He brought in one of his guys. Guess who his guy was that he brought over, Ron?
Not sure.
Anthony Campanelli. Jeff Hafley wanted Anthony Campanelli from us. He said, hey, our linebackers coach, we're not feeling it. Let Miami take him. We want Campanelli. Campanelli lasted 1 year, balled out. Now he's over in Jacksonville and everyone wants him. So clearly, and a Packers beat writer said this. He said, clearly, for Dolphin fans, be excited because it was Jeff Hafley that wanted Campanelli. So he can identify talent. And bro, as a head coach, your job is to coach, but where you need to evaluate is you need to evaluate the next guy. We want to be in a situation where year after year, people are trying to poach our guys to be head coaches because that's how good Hafley is. So we're going to find out a lot about who he brings in. But again, fans, if and when he brings over Green Bay guys, do not go down a spiral saying, of course, that's what yes, he has familiarity. He knows how they run meetings. He knows how they talk to players. He knows how they design plays. He knows he knows how to interact already. Of course he's going to do it. One, if I go get a promotion and I have an opening, guess who's the first person I'm calling? You, because I know you. Yes, I can hire other people and the best interviews, but one, everybody puts on their best face for an interview.
Yeah.
Everybody does. If I know you and know your work and know how you respond in negative areas, know how you respond when it's not going well, know how you respond in good times, know how you respond in bad times, why would I not take advantage of that? So again, if our next OC is a Packers quarterback coach, which I believe is Sean Mannion, or the pass game coordinator, or an offensive assistant, or anyone on the Packers staff, don't immediately say, of course, we messed up. Give it a chance. If we can give Mike McDaniel a chance, who no other team, Juan, not a single other team put in a request to interview him when we signed him. If we can put trust in him, why can't we put trust in Sully with this hire?
Mic drop. I'm not going to drop this mic. I just bought it. But Chad, I agree with what you're saying. I feel like the fans, it's much easier to say this is not going to work out because realistically, very few teams does it work out like this, right? And throughout the years, we just had worse luck. But it's much easier to say, oh my God, here we go again. He's hiring his homeboys and we're going down this road. And no. You hire people that you know and you feel comfortable working with. And then, of course, you make some outside hires. A little bit of both, right? Yep. So I think you have to sprinkle in a little bit of both. You have to be able to identify some talent out there as well. But you want to build the foundation with people that you know and trust. So you asked me the question in the beginning of the podcast. The answer now is completely different because there's context. So
Yep.
I see now where you're coming from, and I feel like a lot of people listening to what you're saying will feel the same way.
Yeah.
It come on, man. McDonald, look at what happened with McDonald. And you want you want to you want to win, dude.
I
You
know.
want to win. You want to do what the Seahawks are doing. You want to do what the 49ers are doing. You want to do what Pittsburgh did for a very long time. We'll see if they can continue to do that without Mike Tomlin. You want to be that with the Texans, which, again, still my favorite team. Just C.J. Stroud. That is the Rex Grossman of the Houston Texans.
Man.
You,
Good pull.
yeah, dude.
Good pull.
You want to win.
Yeah.
And there is no secret sauce. There is no exact science, like you mentioned. We're all in this together. Let's give this guy a chance. See what he could do as a very well-spoken man. We touched on a few things here today. He comes from a system, an organization that's very consistent. The
Yeah.
GM is aligned. They have the same vision. He did well in Boston College as well. All the signs are there for this guy to be a successful hire. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
What's so different about him and McDonald? Tell me. I mean, nobody can tell me.
Nope.
What's so different about him and Mike Tomlin? Nobody could say no, you can't convince me otherwise.
You don't know.
You
don't
just
know.
don't. You could get John Harbaugh over here for all we know, right? And I exaggerated. I said I wanted 2 first-round picks for him. I just wanted a coach here that's tenured, but he might not even be successful over here. If we're being honest,
How many coaches have won a Super Bowl with one team and then went to another team and won another one?
I can only think of one, and that's no. I can't even think of one. I was about to say Andy Reid. He lost in the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb. And
That's why they got rid of him.
Yeah,
That's why they got rid of him.
travesty.
There might be one. You might have to Google it, but I, off the top of my head, can't name one. And I'm not saying, dude, audience.
Was it Aaron Glenn? No, he was just.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Is it Aaron Glenn? Is it Aaron Glenn? I chat. We wanted John Harbaugh. We got up on here and I mean, Juan, didn't you do like a short about it, about Harbaugh getting fired or something like that?
I did. Yeah.
We wanted him, but here's the reality: we weren't going to ever get John. And major props to Stephen Ross for not hiring Chad Alexander to have a better chance to land Harbaugh, because John Harbaugh himself said it was always the Giants. He literally, his presser, he's like, the New York Football Giants. Bro, great. I have several actual Giants fans that are friends that are fans of the Giants, like real fans. I'm so excited for them. If John comes here and doesn't do well, then we would really feel cursed. Like, man, if John Harbaugh can't come here and win, my thing is like, and I've grown into this, so bear with me. I like the idea. Like, I like the approach. I like Sully bringing in his guy that he's worked with. I like that there's not going to be that gap. And when you said something, and I know a lot of fans are going to give pushback, when we say that Jeff Hafley did well at Boston College, we know he had a losing record. We know. But what we're saying is giving him his circumstances and what he did well there. He got NFL prospects there. He developed and got them drafted. He won against a top 15 team. He was competitive. He almost beat it. Like, that's what we're saying when we're saying that he did well. So don't come at me and say he had a losing record. Dude, I get it. Bill O'Brien had a losing record, comes to the NFL and does well. There's been several coaches. Bro, we can go to the GOAT. Nick Saban had a winning record, came to the NFL and said, I can't do this, and then had to go back to college. Kirk Cignetti, who we both love, said, I'm a college guy. I want to be Paul Bear Bryant. Like, he was like, I want to be that college guy. I'm a college coach. So let's, again, breathe with me, fans. Mainly because I needed to breathe. Fresh slate. Give it a chance. We all season said there's no way Stephen Ross will fire Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. Then when he fired Chris Greer, we're like, he's gonna keep Mike. It's gonna happen. Then he kept Mike. And we're like, great, blah, blah, blah. Then he fired him. We got what we wanted. So now that we got what we wanted, a new GM, a new head coach, and you guys, the new quarterback's coming. Sully is going to get asked, and he's going to say something like he's under contract, whatever, yada, yada. He did not mention him one time in the 15 minutes that he had with Travis Wingfield. So we got a new GM. We're going to get whole new front office. We're going to get a new coach, or we have a new coach now, with other new coaches, and we're going to get a new quarterback. We got what we wanted. Stop complaining because you got what you wanted. Give it a chance. Breathe. Complain another day. Complain when we have something to actually complain about. Like when we start playing games. And before you do it, because I've done it several times, we don't want to win free agency, people. We don't. And before you do it, in the draft, if Caleb Downs happens to be there, who I would love to have, shocker alert, he's going to be my number one overall player by the end of my big board, my 150 big board. He'll be number one. If he drafts Francis Maui knowing he's there, do not complain. We want to be a trench team. We want to win in December. We want to win in January. It's not going to be sexy, but it's going to be what we need. So that's my TED Talk for that area, Juan.
Nice, Chad. And that was very well said. I really, if it's okay with you, I want to end it there because, I mean, we could continue going on and on, but you hit the head on the nail there. It's much easier to complain, right?
Yep.
That's kind of where my mind goes. It's just complain mode, and I'm used to it. And let's wait. Let's see what this guy brings. Let's see what he does before we start complaining. Before we say, "Oh my God, everything is going to shit." Because, excuse my language.
You're good, man.
Because we've been there, done that. But let's wait, guys. Let's wait. Another
Can I ask you one thing, Juan?
Yeah, go for it.
One thing. Over under 2.5. Over and under is 2.5. The amount of times that culture is brought up in the presser from both of them. Are you going to go over or under? Do you think they're going to say it more than 2 times or less than 2 times?
I'm going to go over 2.5 because it's Miami and a lot of these reporters cover the Heat as well. And I know that's a big thing. It was mimicked a lot when the Florida Panthers organization said that they wanted to be more like the Heat. The word culture was just thrown out there a lot. With the Marlins, big time baseball fan, but I don't think there's any reporters out here for the Marlins. They don't really care about culture. I think they're a minor league team at this point, so we can throw them out. But to the teams that really do matter, that do spend, culture is a big thing. So I'm going to say over 2.5.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Easily. I was going to start it at 4 because I think that he'll open it. Both of them will open it with them saying culture, and then I think the reporters are going to say like, hey, can you kind of say what kind of culture you're going to build, and then that's going to get said. But yeah, no, I 1000% think you're going to hear culture. So yeah, but no, yeah, just had to get your opinion, Juan. I'm excited about tomorrow, brother.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. So guys, appreciate you listening. We got some more good stuff for you tomorrow. Fins Up Talk for the fans, by the fans, to the fans. Love you guys. Peace, love, chicken grease. Catch us tomorrow.
Yes, sir.